Today, Baba is talking about experimenting, or, Baba talks about practicing, not even experimenting. Baba talks about the word practice, and Baba says, practice every speciality, every power, and every main point of knowledge in yoga. So when we sit in an introverted state with Baba, when we withdraw our attention from the world around us and we sit in this inner cave of introversion, then we must practice every virtue, every speciality, every power, excuse me, and every point of knowledge that Baba has given us. And Baba says that this practice will keep us free from any obstacle. So if we want to be free from obstacles also, this is a very good practice. Now you see, how do obstacles disturb us? When our mind thinks about them. Yes, so if you think about obstacles, then those obstacles will become your experience. So do you know that one thing is there is a situation, and another thing is that situation is not there, it's here. So when the situation is there, then it's just a situation. But when the situation is here, it's an obstacle, because it obstructs your own power to deal with the situation also. Because you are the one who will deal with the situation. But if the situation is here, then who will deal with it? You are already consumed by the situation. So Baba says, we are living in this world drama, playing our part, and there will be many things around us. But then what should be here? What's there we can't control. But what should be here? So here I have to keep practicing the points of knowledge that Baba gives us, the virtues that Baba gives me, and the powers that Baba gives me. Now, how do you practice? So, the simple method of practice is going over something again and again and again. So, have you seen how children are taught to practice how to write? So, somebody gives them a pencil and then they keep drawing a line over A, or yes, and then A, B, C, D. You keep going over and over it, and then slowly you start getting how to write A, B, C, D. So that is the method to practice. So when you keep your mind engaged in thinking about the virtues that Baba has given, thinking about the powers that Baba has given, or any point of knowledge that Baba has given, then that's how you practice those points. And you see, you have to engage your mind in circular thinking. So you see, the mind cannot, just like the hand can just keep repeating A, B, C, D. If you keep repeating in your mind, peace, 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 then your mind will get bored and then it'll drift away and then it'll start thinking about something else. So you have to engage your mind very creatively. And you see, commentaries are an example of circular thinking. When you take a virtue, you take a power, you take a point of knowledge, and you start thinking about all the ways in which you can think about it. For example, I gave the example of peace. So let's take peace. So, peace is my virtue. I was peaceful in the soul world. I was peaceful in the new world when I came. And peace is like, a light that fills me. Peace is like water inside me, which feels cool and calm. So, you have to keep very creatively with every thought. You have to, just like, when you draw a circle, you are always moving towards towards the beginning of the circle. So, circular thinking means you keep moving back to that one point on which you want to emphasize. And you have very creatively, you keep going over and over it. And when you keep doing this, then your mind is busy practicing a virtue. And then when you practice a virtue, that virtue becomes you. So you become the virtue. So first you practice the virtue that Baba has given, peace, by thinking about it, visualizing it, feeling it. So you see, there are many people these days who say affirmation, affirmation. Affirmation is thinking about something. But what is meditation? Meditation is thinking plus visualizing plus feeling. So when we are practicing something, we have to think about it, we have to visualize it, and we also have to feel it. So when I say peace, I have to not just say peace intellectually. I have to also think about how peace feels and try to feel it. And I also have to create a picture, the picture of peace could be like soothing light. It could be like raindrops. It could be like, a very soothing wind, the breeze that's blowing. So very soothing breeze that's flowing, that's giving you the experience of peace. So anything, you have to visualize, you have to think, and you have to feel. And when all of these things come together, so when you are, so just like, in a laboratory, what do? You have ingredients and you have knowledge, and then you mix them up and then you create something. So similarly, yoga is like, when you sit in yoga, it's like you're sitting in your inner laboratory. And there you take these ingredients that Baba has given, points of knowledge or virtues or powers, and then you start, practicing them. You start giving them a form, giving them an experience, going over them again and again, creating an image, and then slowly, gradually, that point, that virtue, that speciality becomes something that you embody. And this is the practice that Baba is telling us to do. So, do you do this practice? Because what else are you thinking about in Sangam Yuga? In Sangam Yuga, there is nothing else. So, you see, if you think about things that are not worth thinking about, you will become unworthy. And if you think about things that are worth thinking about, you will become worthy. So that is the law. So if you engage your mind, and if you are engaging your inner laboratory in thinking about and visualizing and feeling things of the world, events of the world, then what is it doing to you? It is not accumulating your energy, it is draining your energy. But when you do the same thing with points of knowledge, with virtues and powers that Baba has given. For example, take a virtue, take a power, the power to tolerate, and just think about what the power to tolerate means, and what are the situations in which you want to use the power to tolerate. And in every situation, create an image of what tolerance would look like. So, what would you look like if you were the embodiment of power to tolerate? And for example, there is a if there is a relationship in which somebody is constantly putting you down and somebody is constantly insulting you, and then you have the power to tolerate, then what would your form be like? So you will be very light in spite of all the words they say and all the behavior they have. You will not be, I'm tolerating, and you will not be heavy because of that. But because of the power to tolerate, now you see all the powers emerge through knowledge in yoga. So when you emerge the knowledge that this is a soul doing what they know how to do, and it has got nothing to do with me, and my job is to keep myself safe and protected from these vibrations, then what do? You just stay very light. You listen but don't listen. You hear, but then you don't think about it, and you stay light. So that is the image of the power to tolerate. Then you take another scene when there is a headache or there is a sinus attack or something, and then you are, whatever pain you go through physically, and then create that image of power to tolerate, and create that image of you being the embodiment of tolerance. And when you visualize that, then you see you are in your inner laboratory, you are preparing something that you will use outside. So, just like, in the world, when something is prepared in a laboratory, they are used outside. You create an experiment and then you arrive at something, you create a technology in the laboratory and then you apply it and create machines outside. Similarly, when you create this virtue, this power, this experience or embodiment of the point of knowledge inside, then what do? It creates a sanskar inside you, and then you are able to apply that sanskar outside. So if you spend your time and thought in creating this virtuous state, this powerful state, then when you come into action in the mundane world or in the Brahmin family or in seva, then you will be able to be an embodiment of virtues and powers and come into action. Yes, but you have to, for example, take a point of knowledge, of the point of drama, and then just think about, why Baba says drama is benevolent, and how, and then, when, just like, when you experiment with something, you start with, suppose this is so. And then when you finish the experimentation, you arrive at, yes, this is so. So Baba says, similarly, take a point of knowledge, I am a soul. And then just try to think about all the aspects of the soul that Baba says. And then after deeply thinking about, and thinking about the points that come in your awareness that support the knowledge of the soul, you arrive at this experience that I'm actually a soul. And then the qualities of the soul, fearlessness or egolessness, they start emerging inside you. So Baba tells us that I am a soul, but do I really believe I am a soul? And then all the points that Baba gives me about I being a soul, that I am the one thinking and then expressing it through the body, or I am the one who is, hearing everything or seeing everything and creating a response inside me. So just think about these points and arrive at the realization that yes, I am a soul and this body is nothing, it's just an input output device. So it's not knowledge, it's realization then. And when you realize a point of knowledge, that point of knowledge gives you a lot of power. Just like when you realize you are a soul, then it gives you the power of being, indestructible. It gives you fearlessness, it gives you egolessness, because you're anyways a soul. What do you need from the world? Nothing. It gives you a sense of freedom from all the bondages of the world. So Baba says, keep doing this. And when you keep doing this, then you are busy enough to not think about what are the things going on around you. And yes, there are situations which come and go, but then they don't disturb you and they don't become obstacles for you, because you are not thinking about them, you're just dealing with them. Yes, and I remember there was this one person once, and they said, I'm very jealous of how free you are in the mind always. So, there is, so there are 100 things going on, and I and you are dealing with the same thing, but then I am so disturbed about it, and you are so free inside, and I'm really jealous of that free state that you're enjoying. So I told them that, when the mind is busy, then you will be free from the nuisance outside. So there is only very little you can do. So most of the times, you can't do anything about something that's going on. For example, somebody is talking ill about you. What can you do? Can you stop them? If you try to stop them, they will do it even more. Yes. So what can you do? You can't do anything. Then what do? You just allow yourself to be free despite that. And there are some things that you can do something about, which you do. But then why stress about it? So Baba says, then nothing comes, nothing becomes an obstacle, because you are lost in love of Baba and you are in your powerful state, in your peaceful state. And then Baba says that just like, when you are skimming the surface of the ocean only has waves, and waves will entertain you, but they will not give you anything. So, you will be entertained only until you are dancing in those waves. But if you delve deep inside into the ocean, then you might find some jewels and pearls which are very valuable. So similarly, Baba says, listening to points of knowledge, listening to the blessings that Baba gives, listening to the truth that you have these powers and virtues is very entertaining. You like it, right? Even listening to it gives you an entertainment. But then that entertainment or that happiness lasts only until you keep listening to it. Just like the waves, like you're on the surface of the ocean. But if you went a little deeper and you sat in the laboratory of your mind and took those pearls of knowledge and powers and virtues and just came into the experience and realization of them, if you made that effort, because it takes an effort to dive into the ocean. You cannot dive into the ocean just like that. You have to take a lot of effort. So similarly, if you make this effort, then you will find the jewels of experience and the jewels of realization. And those are very valuable. So this is something that Baba says. And then Baba says, impurity attracts vices. So keep your thoughts also pure. So, uh, everything starts with a thought. And the first thing, so you see, first you don't get angry. Yes, in the beginning, there is no vice. In the beginning, what happens is you start thinking that this thing was wrong and this thing was right, and what they did was wrong and it was not accurate. And then when you start thinking about it, then slowly, gradually, anger makes its way. Yes. And not just anger, but even sorrow or sadness or trauma or anything, it makes its way when first you allow yourself to think about something. So Baba says, keep your thoughts pure. And pure means knowledgeful. So, whatever is not worthy of thinking according to knowledge, don't think about it. So, Baba never says think about right and wrong. Baba says put a full stop. But when you cross the line of Shrimat, then there is impurity. You see, the whole world is always thinking about right and wrong. And let's say something happened. Let's say you worked for something and then somebody took it away. Okay. Now they took it away and you can't get it back. You have tried whatever you could, but you can't get it back. Then what do? You put a full stop to it. That this is how the drama is destined. If you don't put a full stop to it and you keep thinking this was mine and had this not happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And if they had not done this, then I wouldn't be in this situation. And if you start thinking about others and thinking about blame and thinking about, if Baba says this pattern of thought that if this had happened, this wouldn't have happened, or this wouldn't have happened, this wouldn't go wrong this way. So all of these thoughts are against Shrimat. And when you start thinking against Shrimat, then there'll be impurity. So, waste thoughts or feelings will start emerging. And then slowly, gradually, sadness or anger or, depression or all these kinds of things will start happening. Or, greed or ego and, even a sense of revenge or whatever will come up. And Baba says, these vices will start troubling you and they will start making you do vikarma. If you don't keep your mind within the limits of Shrimat. And this is very important. And I will tell you one thing. There was this one sister and she faced many situations and she came out of all of them. No situation stays, and it didn't stay in her case also. So eventually all the situations changed. And then, I noticed that her behavior had altered a lot. So earlier she used to be very trusting and very loving. And now she had become very dry and very, fearful, and she wouldn't trust anybody, a lot of, mistrust. And then I told her, I see a big difference in your personality now, in your sanskars now. And then she said, when you go through something, then it leaves a scar. So I told her, no, it shouldn't leave a scar, So you didn't use Gyan when it was going on. You just dealt with all of it in a very mundane way. So, just like people deal with situations, you dealt with it. But when you use Gyan, you would put full stop at every step. And Gyan is basically about doing everything while putting a full stop to it. So, first put a full stop to the problem and then work at the solution. If you keep the problem in your awareness, that's not Gyan. So, when you are able to use the knowledge of the soul, the knowledge of the difference of sanskars, the knowledge that everybody has a different part, you are able to use the knowledge that, okay, there is a problem, but then Baba is bigger than that, and Baba is with me. And then when you are able to use the knowledge of the drama, that everything is actually happening for good, and you believe in it, then what happens is you are able to keep your thoughts pure. You are able to keep your thoughts about your virtues, your powers, about Baba, and then you are able to deal with it. And when you are doing that, then vices don't strike you. Otherwise, vices will come and they will do a lot of internal damage, whether it's the vice of sorrow, whether it's the vice of anger, whether it's the vice of greed or lust or attachment. It will do a lot of damage, and then that damage will become irreparable. So this is something. And you see, situations come and go is true for everybody, for Brahmins and non-Brahmins alike. People who are not in Gyan are also dealing with situations, and we are also dealing with situations. So situations come and go is true for both of us. But what is the difference between being Baba's child and not being Baba's child? So when a situation comes in a BK's life, the situation makes you more experienced and strong. And when it comes in the life of another person who has no knowledge, no yoga power, it leaves a scar of trauma in them. And then with every situation, you're getting traumatized more and more. But that's because you allow your mind to become impure first. And then all these vices, fear and guilt and all of this will come up. So this is there. And even about, lust or greed or stuff, first you allow it to enter your mind, yes? You entertain it in the form of a thought. You think about somebody's body, or you start, these thoughts about brooding over somebody's body in your mind. And you think that it's only in the mind, so it's not a big problem. But then whatever will go on in the mind will come in actions tomorrow. So just stop it at the level of the mind. Or, even greed, this thought that they have what I want and I deserve it and they don't deserve it. All these thoughts, they start in the mind. But if you don't stop it in the mind, then they will come into action, and you will start having, greed or this sense of, trying to steal or take away something from someone because you want it and they have it. So these things are what Baba talks about. And then Baba says today that when somebody says something which you think is not the right use of words or something, listen, but don't listen to them. Just smile. Yes. And why will you smile? So, somebody who knows a secret smiles. So just know that what they are talking is just their idea, their perception. It's not about you, it's about their sanskar, their perception. So just know that, and know that this person is a jnani, or they don't know. That's why they are speaking like this. So just smile and listen, but don't listen. Don't take it to heart. And Baba says, because Baba keeps this in his awareness, that is why he uplifts those who defame him so much. because he has compassion, not judgment for those who say wrong things. Because you don't judge somebody who is weak, somebody who is ignorant. Yes? If somebody has never gone to school and they can't write, would you judge them? No, because you know they can't write because they've not gone to school, so you don't expect them to read or write. So Baba says, similarly, you understand that this person doesn't have knowledge, so they are thinking the way they are thinking, they're speaking the way they are speaking. So just, have compassion for them, and then you will be able to even uplift those who defame you. Yes, I remember there was this one brother, and he talked a lot of negative things about Brahma Kumaris when he came to the center. And then I knew that, he's ill informed and he doesn't know. So I said, no, brother, it's not like this. It's like this, there's this. And I just explained to him, I was not, I was not ached by his ideas. So then he said, how can you so calmly deal with somebody who is accusing you people? So I said, no, but you see, you are ill informed. So it's my duty to inform you. And even if you continue to believe those things or say those things, doesn't matter, because your opinion is your opinion and you are entitled to it. But it doesn't mean that your opinion is somebody's reality. So you see that you can uplift somebody who defames you also if you know that they are defaming you because they are ignorant, because they don't know. And if you have that compassion, then that compassion will help you uplift them also. The biggest problem is you think that somebody is doing something purposefully. But no soul would choose to do something wrong purposefully. Yes, they either don't know or they don't have the power. If somebody had the strength and the knowledge, they would never choose wrong actions. Just know that. Maybe sometimes people have the knowledge, but they don't have the power. And that's why they speak something wrong or do something wrong. And if you know this law that every soul is a knowledgeful being. Every soul has intellect. So any soul who is knowledgeful and powerful will never choose wrong words and actions. But when somebody is doing something wrong, and especially acts of defamation, then you understand that they are doing it because either they are lacking in understanding or in power. And then when somebody is lacking in something, you support them, you fill that gap, not, judge them for being lacking in them. So you uplift them. And if somebody is, jealous, then they don't have contentment. So you stay contented in whatever they are doing and give them the blessing of contentment. And then they will become contented. So Baba says, you are the children of the ocean of happiness. You don't have to, you have to give happiness to everybody. Don't fight or quarrel amongst each other. And even uplift the ones who defame you. And I remember in Sakar Baba's time, there was this one person who ran a newspaper, he was the owner of a newspaper. And this person used to write a lot of, negative things about Baba's work and the yajna. And then there was few children of Baba who were very influential. And then they told Baba that, Baba, we would like to, stop him by using force. And he talks negative about us, so we would also, do something damaging so that he stops. So then Baba says, he doesn't recognize me, but I recognize him. He doesn't know I am his father, but I know he's my child. And a father cannot, um, cannot cannot file a case against his own child. So even if you want to take him to court, I can't take him to court because he doesn't recognize the father, but the father recognizes the child. So when the father is recognizing the child, how can he take him to court? So this is how, Brahma Baba always uplifted those who defamed. And then, Brahma Baba gave a solution. He said, instead of taking him to court, what do? You write a letter to him and tell him, however much you defame me, you're still our friend. You're still our brother. And then he was sent that letter, and many years later he understood and realized that he had made a mistake. So Baba says, and you see Shiv Baba says that we children say all the things about Baba that's not true. We say Baba is omnipresent, Baba is present in pebbles and stones, and that is like defaming Baba. But then Baba comes and uplifts us and does everything that's benevolent for us. So we children also must learn to uplift those who defame us. Can you do that? Yes, always know that they are defaming you because they don't know. And I'll tell you one thing, there's one Mata and her husband, he used to talk ill about her a lot because she was in Gyan. And then he stopped giving her any money, and she had no money and she was struggling a lot. And then, somebody told her that you file a case against your husband because he's not giving you money and that money is your right. And then she filed that case. And then, after some time, the husband met with an accident. And then somebody said that, go and meet him. He's after all your husband. And when she went and met him, he had just changed. And he was in tears and he said, I'm so happy seeing you. You came to see me. And then he handed over all his ATM and everything to her. And he said, if I die, this is all yours. And that Mata, in that moment, she said, Didi, the only thought I had in that moment was, this person changed in a second, and I regretted all that I did as a reaction to his past behavior. She said, I did not regret anything that had happened to me, but I regretted every single thing that I had done as a reaction to his behavior. Because it made me realize that this person made a U-turn in 1 second. But what about my karma that I spoiled all this while? And then I thought, what will happen in the final moments? Because we do so much as a reaction to what people do to us. And then, in the final moments, everybody will come and say, I didn't recognize you, and they will fall at your feet. And then what? You will regret all that you did. Because people will change in a second. So Baba says, do not ever change your drishti for anybody who does anything, because in the final moments, they will all change. But you will regret what you did as a reaction to their actions. So in order to save yourself from that remorse or that regret or that guilt in the final moments, you have to always maintain that drishti of uplifting those who defame you or doing good to those who do bad to you. Okay, Om Shanti.